Did you know that 1 teaspoon of healthy soil contains more microorganisms than there are people on Earth? These microorganisms help create the perfect environment for your plants to grow. In this video, we'll show you how to keep your soil crumbly and vibrant. Think of it like this. When your soil is healthy, it breathes. It allows for good drainage and provides essential nutrients to the roots. Let's talk about feeding your soil. Avoid chemical fertilizers. Add organic matter like compost or manure. It's nature's soil conditioner. Improves soil structure and fertility. Helps sandy soil retain water and nutrients. Breaks up heavy clay soil for root growth. Spread a couple of inches in autumn or spring. You'll see a big difference. Your soil will be darker, richer, and full of life. Your plants will thank you with healthier growth. Now, once you've fed your soil with that lovely organic matter, you need to keep it protected, like tucking it in for a good night's sleep. This is where mulching comes in. A good layer of mulch acts like a blanket, keeping the soil cool in summer and preventing it from becoming waterlogged in winter. And when I say mulch, I'm talking about organic materials like bark chippings, shredded leaves, or even straw. These materials gradually break down, adding even more goodness to your soil. Just spread a generous layer, about 2 to 3 inches, around your plants, making sure not to touch the stems. By mulching, you're creating the perfect environment for all those beneficial microorganisms to thrive. Now, I know it's tempting to reach for the tiller every time you want to plant something new. But trust me, less is more when it comes to tilling. Over-tilling can actually do more harm than good. It disrupts the natural structure of the soil, breaking down those precious air pockets that roots and microorganisms need to breathe. Instead of tilling, try using a no-dig method. This involves simply adding layers of organic matter to the surface of the soil, letting nature do the hard work of breaking it down. Your soil will be healthier, your back will thank you, and you'll be doing your bit for the environment. Imagine someone constantly digging up the floor beneath your feet. You wouldn't be too happy, would you? Well, it's the same for your soil. Let's be honest, leaving soil bare is like leaving your front door open to unwanted visitors. Instead, cover it up with a cover crop. Cover crops, like mustard, clover, or winter rye, are sown during the off-season when your vegetable beds would normally sit empty. They work their magic by preventing soil erosion, improving its structure, and adding essential nutrients back into the ground. Once they've done their job, you simply cut them down and leave them on the surface as a mulch or lightly dig them in. This process adds a wealth of organic matter back into the soil. Even when your main crops are taking a break, there's always something you can do to keep your soil happy and healthy. Stop stepping on your garden beds. Now, this might seem like a small thing, but I can't stress enough how important it is to avoid walking on your garden beds. Each step you take compacts the soil, squeezing out those vital air pockets. Instead of treating your beds like a trampoline, create designated paths or walkways between them. This way, you can tend to your plants without causing any unnecessary damage. It's all about being mindful of the delicate ecosystem beneath your feet. Let the worms do their thing. You know, they call them earthworms for a reason. These little creatures are absolute heroes when it comes to healthy soil. They burrow through the earth, creating channels that improve drainage and aeration. Their castings, or worm poop, are pure gold for your garden, packed with nutrients that plants absolutely love. So how do you attract more of these wriggly wonders to your garden? It's simple, really. Just provide them with a feast of organic matter. They love things like compost, leaf mold, and well-rotted manure. You can also add a layer of cardboard on top of your soil. Worms adore it, and it helps to suppress weeds. Remember, a healthy worm population is a sure sign of healthy soil. Now, let's talk about watering, because giving your plants a drink isn't just about quenching their thirst, it's about nourishing the soil too. And the key here is to water deeply and less frequently. Instead of giving your plants a quick sprinkle every day, aim for a good soak once or twice a week. This encourages roots to grow deeper down into the ground, making them stronger and more resilient. Deep watering allows the water to penetrate right down to the root zone, where it's needed most. And a little tip water in the morning whenever possible. Now, just like a carpenter wouldn't use a hammer to saw wood, a gardener needs the right tools for the job. And when it comes to keeping your soil loose and airy, there are a few essentials you should have in your arsenal. One of my favorites is the humble garden fork. It's perfect for gently aerating the soil without causing too much disruption. Simply push the fork into the ground and wiggle it back and forth a bit. This creates little channels for air and water to penetrate without inverting the soil layers. Another useful tool is a broad fork, which is a bit like a giant fork. Remember, the key is to work with your soil, not against it. Sometimes, our soil needs a little extra help to breathe properly, especially if it's heavy clay or prone to compaction. That's where natural soil amendments come in. Think of them as little helpers that improve the structure and drainage of your soil. One of my go-to amendments is gypsum. It's a naturally occurring mineral that helps to break up clay particles, improving drainage and aeration. Another great option is perlite. Remember, it's all about finding the right balance for your soil type. Now let's talk about crop rotation. It's an age-old practice that's still as relevant today as it ever was. Essentially, it involves growing different types of plants in your beds each year, rather than planting the same thing in the same spot year after year. By rotating your crops, you prevent the soil from becoming depleted of certain nutrients. It's also a great way to interrupt the life cycle of pests and diseases. Think of crop rotation as giving your soil a varied and balanced diet, which keeps it healthy and productive for years to come. Now let's delve into the fascinating world of mycorrhizae. These beneficial fungi form a symbiotic relationship with plant roots, extending their reach and helping them access water and nutrients more efficiently. Think of them as tiny underground networks that connect your plants, allowing them to share resources and thrive. You can purchase mycorrhizal fungi in powder or granular form and add it to your soil when planting. It's a simple but effective way to give your plants a head start and promote healthy root development. By introducing beneficial organisms like mycorrhizae, you're creating a thriving underground community that benefits your plants in countless ways. Now, if you want to give your soil a real treat, try brewing up a batch of compost tea. It's like a nutritious smoothie for your plants, packed with beneficial bacteria and fungi that boost soil health and plant growth. Making compost tea is surprisingly easy. You simply steep mature compost in water for a day or two, then strain it and use the liquid to water your plants. Compost tea helps to suppress soil-borne diseases, improve nutrient uptake, and enhance overall plant vigor. Just like we need a break now and then, so does our soil. It works incredibly hard throughout the growing season, providing for our plants and nurturing those vital microorganisms. That's why it's important to give it a well-deserved rest every now and then. One way to do this is by practicing crop rotation, as we discussed earlier. Leaving a bed fallow for a season allows it to replenish its nutrient reserves and for beneficial organisms to build up their populations. Another option is to sow a cover crop, which we also covered. By giving your soil time to rest and recharge, you're ensuring its long-term health and productivity. Now, just like we need regular checkups to stay healthy, so does our soil. Testing your soil every year or two is essential to ensure that it has the right pH and nutrient balance for optimal plant growth. You can purchase DIY soil testing kits from garden centers or online, or you can send a sample to a professional lab for analysis. The results will tell you if you need to make any adjustments, such as adding lime to raise the pH or sulfur to lower it. This information allows you to make informed decisions about fertilizing, ensuring that your plants have access to everything they need to thrive. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to gardening. We hope these tips help you create the soft, fluffy soil of your gardening dreams. Remember, it's not about doing everything at once. It's about adopting a few good habits over time so that your soil can reach its fullest potential. Think of it as a long-term relationship. The more you put into it, the more you get out of it. If you learned anything new or useful today, please help us grow by hitting that like button and subscribing to Don't Do This Guide. It only takes a second for you, but it means the world to us. And share this video with friends or family who could use some soil TLC. Stay curious, stay adventurous, and keep growing, literally and figuratively. Remember, don't do anything that compacts your soil. Keep it airy, keep it healthy.